We welcome you to Nissan in-game live. Woo-hoo-hoo. 17-14 Birds, Ron Jaworski. What'd you make? Give me the overview of that first half.
Michael, I'm speechless. I mean,
Really?
what a great first half of football. The opening drive, the Eagles take the football, go 65 yards. You can't design plays better, get Dallas Goedert involved, Jalen Hurts movement. It looks like it's an easy day. Well, the Rams come right back down. They go 85 yards themselves. But the last drive to give the Birds a 17-14 lead was a thing of beauty. I mean, most teams probably with 32 seconds can take a knee. Let's go in the locker room. We got the ball coming off, blah, blah, blah. All those things you overthink. Not this Eagle team. Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown. They're thinking, we got 32 seconds? That's a lot of time to score. They go right down the field, aided by a penalty in the end zone. The tush push. Touchdown, 17-14. What a great half of football. Give the Rams some credit, too. They've hung in there as well. It's probably going to be a more electric second half.
What were they lined up to do initially? There was a timeout call. It didn't look like tush-push formation. And then after the timeout, they came back, and then they tush-pushed it. Were they going to do anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
The tush-push blew that Rams defense about 3 yards deep in the end zone. It's unstoppable. No one has stopped it yet. You knew it from a yard, and it's going to be the tush-push. I don't know why the timeout was called, but who cares?
Jalen Hurts looked absolutely amazing, specifically in the first quarter. His passer rating was 138. He led that drive beautifully. He had 3 or 4 passes to Dallas Goedert. It was a balanced attack. They passed a little bit more than they ran the ball, and that touchdown pass was spectacular in the end zone, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jalen's been razor sharp. He's reading the coverage. The touchdown pass, the first one to Dallas Goedert was really the eye manipulation, as I call it. You don't recognize that, and I'm saying because I played the position, but you don't see it on TV. You don't see the eyes, but his head was looking left. He knew he had to keep that safety in the center of the field away from where he wanted to throw it. And Goddard reads the linebackers well to his inside. He pops inside. The safety's not there, and just a perfectly designed play, well read by Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert. That's why you have an efficient offense right now. The other thing, Michael, I thought Jalen did a really good job. We spoke about this on the pregame show. Not running unless he gets an opportunity to. Now, there were a couple of quarterback draws that were perfectly executed, well called, but and then he got down on a few times when he got runs. But he really did a great job of extending the play, being mobile in the pocket and completing balls down the field. I thought Hurts was sensational in the first half.
Okay, let me counter that, because there's some fans will be sitting there saying, are you kidding me? You ran the ball 8 times. You double that's 16 times. We talked in the pregame about him running less and be more of a drop back quarterback and only running when he needed to. It looked like he put himself in harm's way. There were successive runs. What I thought is are they going to have to win it this way because the Rams were being stingy defensively?
Well, there were a couple times they were called draw plays, and they were in situations 3rd and 9 where they felt they were going to play man-to-man behind it, and they had a spy on him, actually. The spy couldn't even bring Jalen down, so he gets the first down. There were sometimes there was good pressure on him. I thought a few of the times he left the pocket prematurely, but he got some yardage out of it or threw the ball away. But we talked about it. He said pregame, I do not want to see him carry the ball 8 times in the second half either. If you have to, if you get down to really the end of the game when he's got to make a play with his legs, do it. But right now, I don't want to see him take those hits. He took a couple pops in that first half.
Yeah, it's nice to know you have that in your back pocket. You just want to always be able to have it in your back pocket.
It's nice to know you have A.J. in your back pocket.
How about A.J. Brown? He really is a beast. And we heard Greg Olsen say just before the half, the penalties are because of his physicality. It's the only way you can handle him or not handle him.
Well, they ought to give that yardage on penalty yardage to A.J. Brown, because they have to maul him to stop him from going up and taking the ball away. We ended this morning's show talking about A.J. Brown. Those 50-50 balls and all that. And those aren't 50-50 balls. They're combat catches. You got to go up and fight someone to get that football. You watch him operate. He goes up. It's hit when it's in the air. It's his ball, and he wins those combat battles.
A.J. Brown, 4 catches, 67 yards. He's averaging almost 17 yards per catch. Dallas Goedert has one more 5 for 52. He's 10.5 yards per catch. He's got a touchdown, and they look pretty darn good offensively. The drives by both teams were incredible, especially after the Eagles' first drive. Rams come back and answer, but I want to go to the Eagles' defensive line against the banged-up Rams' offensive line, and whether or not you think they don't have a sack on Matthew Stafford. I thought they'd be able to get to him.
Well, I think they have a sack. I think Jalen Carter got a sack on a scramble from Matthew Stafford. He really didn't get a sack.
I stand corrected. You're right.
He kind of fell on him as he ran out of the pocket. But there has not been consistent pressure. He's had a good pocket to throw from. The Eagles have blitzed a few times, not much, but you got to be real careful with this receiving core. We talked about Cooper Kupp earlier. Cooper Kupp, is a phenomenal football player, just a year removed from being the NFL, offensive player of the year. Now, he was injured. He's back healthy, and you can't cover that guy. And, if we don't get some pass rush pressure, Stafford's going to continue to shred that secondary.
Is there any other way to do it? Is there any? Obviously, Fletcher Cox is sitting out today's game, but we thought that they have adequate defensive line support that they should be able to do that between Reddick and Sweat and Thomas and
It hasn't showed up. We got to be realistic about it. It hadn't showed up. There's not been a consistent pressure put on Matthew Stafford. There's been some. He's dropped back. I don't know. It's I'm trying to find out how number of times he's dropped back so far.
Well, it's 17
times, maybe
18 with the sack.
Yeah, maybe a couple times there's been pressure on him, but they're going to have to go out the second half, and they have blitz. You give Desai some credit. He has brought some pressure. Tried to mix it up a little bit. Some creative designer blitzes haven't gotten home, but if you don't get pressure on Matthew Stafford, he's going to pick you apart.
Yeah. The Eagles, certainly, they're great at halftime adjustments. What are you expecting for the second half from the Birds?
Big drive the second half. The Rams get the football. The Eagles just had a tremendous drive to end the first half to take the lead with 32 seconds left, drive it down 65 yards. Unbelievable drive. You just don't see that happen. So now the key is the defense has to come out now and shut them down, almost like they did last week against Washington. Where he struggled. They came out in the second half, the third quarter. Washington only had 10 plays. They've got to be like that when they come out. They got to come out with pea and vinegar on their feeling right now. That's how you got to come out and say, we're going to get these guys. The first drive is going to be critical. Let's stop them. Then we get the ball back, go down and score, and make it a 2-score game.
That drive at the end of the first half, I was expecting, hoping for a field goal. I really didn't think with 32 seconds left that they were going to get a touchdown out of it. Did you?
I would believe that they originally thought, hey, let's get it down to 35, give Jake a shot for a field goal. And he's been, unbelievably fantastic all season long. But AJ got behind the corner who undercut the crossing route, made an unbelievable one-handed catch, and took it down for another 15, 20 yards with the penalty that was assessed to that. So I think they were thinking field goal, but once they got the horse collar penalty, they were thinking touchdown.
Yeah, and they got it. 17-14. Eagles at halftime against the Rams. Looking forward to second half action. Reminder, Barrett Brooks has you covered between the third and the fourth quarter. Then Jaws, Barrett, Ruben, Frank, and I are back when the clock hits 0 on NBC Sports Philadelphia for Eagles Post-Game Live. See you then.
Oh, yeah.